Many of the readings that we're having are communications from deceased loved ones and ancient spirits. This reading for Lisa, her father David came forward to tell her many things about the spirit world. And these communications are beckoning us and pushing us into a metaphorical boat, which is like a cave of Brahma, or within our heart chakra, to fast and purify ourselves. Many of us are being asked to fast from people or poisoned foods, polluting our holy temple, which is our body. We are being asked to become serious about our knowledge and to not worry about our physical body as much as we should worry about our ascension at this time. Many people want to get readings from me about money or their boyfriends or their husbands, and I will not read for them because this isn't a time to be worried about ourselves in the physical. It's a time to be doing some great things and to turn ourselves from manhood to godhood, in the sense that it is the great awakening and it is time to awaken. Nothing else seems to matter. So if you are here, you are meant to hear this message about the Enochian language, the language of the angels, and the Egyptian Book of Gates, and Freya, and Solomon. Lisa, you are at 12 o'clock. You have the blazing star of Solomon behind your head and a spirit guide that is a female cradling your head like a crown. At 1 o'clock are two cats. You have the name Frey on your sash over your chest. You're holding a scepter. The scepter is touching the great table in Enochian language. Although the great table is square, this Enochian table is compared to the circular earth, and how the earth is breaking open and birthing a new earth. And you're pivotal in this. Underneath that earth are two individuals sitting in front of a table next to the cosmic turtle. This is communication to practice and to study the Enochian language in the cave of Brahma and away from people at this time. You have a Christmas tree with Jacob's ladder and a chair and a present. There is a symbol of DNA and our shifting of our DNA, and a pole with a pole shift. Your dad came forward with the symbol of a buttercup and another symbol of the Enochian language spinning around like on a CD, and you pulling out the memory or the soul or the energy of someone, opening gateways, opening portals, speaking life, speaking the language of the angels, as the language of the angels is coming out of your dad's mouth like a sachet over your chest. You have cards in front of you as if you are a card reader, psychic, oracle, symbols there. More buttercups, lots and lots of buttercups. And then out of your dad's eye is a symbol of him with his eyes closed and his throat covered, saying that at some point he is unable to see you or speak to you. And then above his head is a scryer. And this scryer is what I do. But it's also a symbol that he wasn't able to communicate with you. And maybe that you should do what I do and become a scryer in order to communicate with the angelic realm or the higher realms. The second piece we did was because your dad wanted to talk a little bit more. And your dad is making a boat with his arms. It also looks like the horns of Hathor. His crown is made up of 4 rainbows with a feather on top. And you have a rainbow above your head around 3 o'clock. I believe old contracts and old karmas are being resolved because of the papers around you. You're seated on a chair. This means that you are above the prison planet. And you're holding that same scepter again, except this scepter is pointed toward a square. And this square has a picture of your dad in it with the year 2027. There is a goldfish going inside a portal. This is reflective of a portal to the golden age of Aquarius. I do not believe that we shift from Pisces to Aquarius. I believe that we either ascend there or not. Many people who pass away in the age of Pisces may end up staying in the age of Pisces in order to grow their soul through that energy. And then when they're ready, they ascend to Aquarius. There is a triangle with an elephant. This is the 1111 carnival. The carnival is a tent that looks like a triangle, and the carnival has always been celebrated on 11/11, predating medieval times. So we went through a major polar shift in 2001 with the two towers looking like the number 11, 9/11 equals 11. The two towers sat in front of a body of water reflecting 11/11, and then the two towers fell. This was a reflection that we collectively died, but did not experience death, as houses or buildings on fire reflect death, as Dorothy's house spinning that killed a witch reflected that Dorothy died. But she did not die. She maintained consciousness and did not remember dying. So your dad is showing a symbol of a bearded man that looks kind of like Odin holding a rainbow bridge to Valhalla. And then he's showing his death with an epitaph and a bluebird flying over the bluebird and a star. And this particular star that's in front of that triangle going down, which is water, is in the Enochian language. I think that you should use these pieces, Lisa, as a map to look into symbology within John Dee's Enochian language. So like John Dee, some of us are being asked to devote our energies to supernatural pursuits. We should indulge in purification, prayer, and fasting. I believe fasting is fasting from media, fasting from people, fasting from the news of the world. And this purification isn't just food. It's about giving up soda and bread and drinking more water, things like that. So the Great Table are elemental tables. These are also known as magical squares. Each of the 4 tablets, which you have this in your piece as well, are earth, fire, air, and water. And they are governed by hierarchy of spiritual entities. And they have 3 holy names: the Great King, the 6 seniors, and the elders. I thought you might find it interesting that Vriel is about his head a little distance, a bright part of a circle like a rainbow. And your dad is showing rainbows above his head. And this is the angel Vriel, Vriel. And remember that your dad had the boomerang that looks like the letter V in his piece. This is Vriel. You might want to connect with Vriel. So this is in the book of the Enochian table. Notice that it has numbers, and they are magical squares. And the wand, there's a rod or a wand in his hand, almost as big as my little finger. It is made of gold and divided into 3 equal parts with a brighter gold than the rest. So if you look up the symbols in your reading, you're going to find these symbols in the angelic language and map of these magical tables and magical squares, the great tables. And so your scepter that you're holding actually forms a communication, as one of your scepters is pointed toward a circle and the other one is pointed toward a square. Notice this man standing here just like the man in your second piece, with his arm stretched out like a rainbow and the other arm like that. So look at your symbols in your piece and you'll see connections in John Dee's Enochian Book of Angels. and begin piecing the pieces together. I wouldn't recommend starting at the beginning and going to the end. I would recommend looking up things that are significant in your pieces and start to do magical squares by starting with the square of the sun and begin exploring what these magical squares do to your subconscious and your outer world. People used to carry these magical squares as amulets, as protection. If you know how to activate them with the voice of the angels, you will become powerful indeed. Why? Because behind every pleasure and every pain is a sacred geometrical shape and a numerology. Sacred numerology is sacred because it opens portals and it closes portals. It opens the subconscious mind. It awakens us to realms and knowledge that we were once very asleep to. And this awakening will lead us to power, and this power should be respected. And under the umbrella of God only. The Holy Spirit must lead us and direct us, and we must not use or misuse this power outside of spirit. Our ego should not be involved. So when you get into this, you might want to begin with the golden ratio, as the golden ratio is 1.618 and is often divided into 4 different realms. The golden ratio is about the golden age of Aquarius, and it is much likened to a spiral and the 4 spiral arms of our universe, which is connected to Odin, and like Dorothy from the Yellow Brick Road, walking the golden yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick road.
So we're going to follow the yellow brick road by following 1.618. We will listen to 1.618 frequency to see how it makes us feel. We may begin visualizing the golden ratio within our minds and creating mandalas in our meditations. We may connect with the energy of the buttercup. We may understand the golden rectangle. And we may begin by doing things in the physical and then doing things mentally in our meditations, so that when we apply both physical with mental, we create amazing things. But it always begins from the beginning of the spiral. The golden ratio is a mysterious proportion considered the secret behind many works of art. It appeals to our senses. People appreciate the golden ratio subconsciously. It is called the divine proportion. It unravels like a scroll. The opening of the scroll is a description of the opening of realities. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and many other great artists used the golden ratios to compose the sacrament of the Last Supper. And the golden ratio is a mathematical communication. I always tell everyone, the Bible is a secret code for the adept. And for those who are not adept, it is a curse of Cain. To be stuck in a religion where you worship a God or a Christ, but you never become as powerful as Christ, even though Christ said, if you believe me, you should become as powerful as me and more. So the curse of Cain is worshiping outside of self and not having the bravery to step into your adepthood. And so many of us are being asked, okay, step out of the curse of Cain and get into the spirit of Abel. And Abel is about having the bravery to become Christ consciousness and expand our consciousness through numerology, symbology, geometry, and being able to relate these things to all sorts of different religions, and realizing that Odin and Christ and many deities like Freya and Isis and Osiris, they are all the same. Especially if you study symbology, you realize, okay, it's all the same. Osiris is Oz, the land of Oz, and Iris is the goddess of the rainbow, But you also have Hathor energy here in this piece. And as Hathor has the sun disk between the two horns. But the two horns, according to my reading, is really about a boat. It's about the Egyptian Book of Gates. When you've made it into the chair or the boat, you've made it above the waters of Pisces. You are floating on top of the fish. You are in the boat. You have made it out of a prison system. You are becoming invisible. You are not under the controls of mind control or the Wicked Witch of the West. You are now being set free, so to speak. Hathor is the goddess of the sky, nature, and love. It is about awakening to light and truth. What I've learned about these female deities is when we leave the land of Oz, the land of a male-dominated patriarch, the 12 disciples and all those men and Solomon and men. And you begin to see all these females all of a sudden. Hathor, Freya, Emma Yah, Mother Mary. And we are starting to see all these females come forward. This means that we have ascended to the goddess Iris. This is the rainbow bridge that is in your piece. It is the great mother that births life from a world that was dominated by death. And what is death? Lies, ignorance, being asleep, not being awake, being under mind control. So she births life. She's the Mother Mary that births Christ consciousness within our hearts, within our minds. And it's as if our DNA has cracked open like an egg, and suddenly God is shining through, and suddenly we're starting to see things that we never saw before, and we are either embracing that or we are afraid of it. And so you are being asked, hey, embrace it. Embrace becoming a master of the net, a carrier of the ancient flame, keepers of the secret knowledge. Are you willing to do the work to make this happen? And if this is occurring to you, then keep sacred what must be kept sacred. And what must be kept sacred is you are becoming a holy grail. The boat is a holy grail, and the holy grail must be kept holy. And how do we keep things holy? By continuously, every single day, purifying ourselves, bettering ourselves, studying, teaching, leading, and becoming nothing. Every day is submitting our will to the great power of God that is and has always been there, but it was dead within us, like in a prison, within our cells. I always use the allegory of Harry Potter. Here you can see the golden ratio in your piece here, easily. Where Harry, his true God and Father, didn't come out of prison until Harry was 12 years old. Azkaban in Gematria actually parallels with prison planet. So at 12 years old, he came out of the prison, and Sirius Black was in prison for 12 years. And Sirius Black is a star system called Sirius B, the dog star. It's the great father-mother that births within our hearts and awakens us. And so this Enochian alphabet, I would suggest beginning to write the Enochian alphabet. I would also, when you receive your original piece that is not painted, look for some of these letters in that piece that I did not bring out, because I don't know this language, but I bet you it's in there. begin looking at the Bible or Egyptian mythologies or even Harry Potter with new eyes. Like Draco Malfoy was a symbol of the Draco star system. It is a threat that pushes people to their destiny, like the Wicked Witch of the West pushed Dorothy toward Emerald City. These are the Enochian hand signs for the Enochian magic system. And here's some more language. I love the illuminated manuscript. I'm in love with being a scryer, and I love illuminated manuscript, and I love taking a piece of paper that is beautifully made and making it holy and making it important. I would suggest hanging up this Enochian language and these Enochian squares in your house. So you look at it every day, become familiar with it, and allow it to shift your energy and awaken you. I'm excited. I bought the 3-book set of the John Dee, and I also bought the other book as well. And I'm going to allow Spirit to lead me to what I need to know about this, because I'm not the type that would read a book from beginning to end. I will open the book and ask Spirit what I need to know. So you can see that these designs are a language. The specific lines lead to numbers on the magical square. It's a code system. Now, to understand the code system is also understanding the 12 gates of the Egyptian Book of Gates. The Egyptian Book of Gates is the ark. You cannot enter the ark unless you have been born again. This means you have a double self. You get on the boat 2 by 2. Inside the boat are different realms. These are portals and worlds of understanding. And each world is dominated by an animal, like a lion or a cat. So you have been sorted into your world inside your boat, and you have been sorted into the energy or body of Freya. Notice you are seated on a chair like this goddess. This means you have made it above the prison planet, the prison realm. You are now going to be an initiate of the flame. You are not standing because you are learning. When you stand like the Statue of Liberty or Athena, then you will have been, you would graduate and have powers and knowledge that will allow you to walk on water. So the blazing star of Solomon looks like Jacob's ladder going up to a blazing star. And this is connected to Christmas. When you are 12 years old spiritually, like Harry Potter or Jesus Christ, you will leave the Bible or leave the Muggles or leave the Munchkins, like Dorothy. You will go to a mansion of many rooms. Jesus said, "My Father's house is a mansion of many rooms." Harry Potter went to Hogwarts. Dorothy went to Emerald City. And it is above water, like this Solomon. And it is out of the illusory world, like a boat above water. And so when you go into this quote-unquote mansion, you are in the Egyptian Book of Gates. And you are sorted into the goddess energy. It's also likened to the show Stranger Things, where the character 11 became aware of an upside-down world and a right-side-up world. It's very interesting that her name is 11, because Jesus Christ has 11 letters in his name. Harry Potter has 11 letters in his name. Dorothy Gale has 11 letters in her name. And this is the 1111 gateway. So for you to have the blazing star reflects that you are meant to teach now and learn while you're teaching. You will be a teacher in Hogwarts. The lights on the Christmas tree reflects that our rainbow light body has become illuminated, and the Gospel of Philip says that when we become illuminated, the dark ones can no longer see us or detain us. The Holy Grail, birthing a new earth, is also connected to the symbolisms in the King of Solomon and Solomon's temple. So you are entering Solomon's temple at this time. You have followed the golden ratio in your life, and it's leading you to bigger places. Let's talk about the meaning of the buttercup. The buttercup is most often gold or yellow. People often give their loved ones flowers as a celebration, or even in some cases when something bad has happened. And your dad is giving you many buttercups. The buttercup has a symbol of a crown on it. It is the time of our crown. You have the blazing star behind your head like a crown. So the buttercup is childish, neatness, humility, and charm. I'm very much resonate with the childish energy because I believe you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless you have the heart of a child, which is an innocent, a sense of innocence and purity. The reason that the buttercups are linked to childishness is due to the fact that they are so bright and appealing to children. There was often a game played with buttercups to put them under your chin to see whether you liked butter or not. Buttercups are a symbol of neatness. The reason for this is because it has incredibly fine lines like sacred geometry. Not exclusively because of this, though, it also has very well organized petals. So cleanliness is next to godliness is the communication here. And making very specific lines, very specific sacred geometrical shapes like the magical square. The buttercup does not leave a big mess when it passes. It does not leave a bunch of flowers all over the floor. So it's a very neat flower. I didn't even think about it, but I wonder if they have a buttercup perfume, because I wonder if the fragrance or the energy of the buttercup actually emits something that awakens us. I've heard people in near-death experience cases say that they heard music from flowers. Humility is a communication that once we do step into power, we should always go back to 0 point energy and say, I am nothing. I am nothing but the empty Holy Grail. And that I could not do any of these things unless it was God moving through me to do them. And so there are many scryers and many seers who became self-important and their ego corrupted them. So once we step into our power, we have to constantly check our humility and make sure that we are not the great and mighty Wizard of Oz and using the power inappropriately. Because the great and mighty Wizard of Oz was full of a hot air balloon. What is charm? What is it to be charming? You can just hear a bell ringing when you hear charm, ding. It's like this. Charming. To be charming is to have the spirit of God and life in you. People will be attracted to you. They will love your energy. They will want to pick you, and some of them will want to kill you like a flower. And you have to set boundaries because you will realize that you will have an energy that is very attractive to those who do not have it. The buttercup is also about a story of a man who died, and when he died, a small flower bloomed where he laid. And these are ancient stories of certain particular flowers blooming after someone passed. And the buttercup is one of them. They say if a cow eats a buttercup, they will produce the sweetest milk. I love these stories. I really do. Now I want to go paint buttercups all over my walls and put them in my hair, and I don't know. I want everything to be buttercups now. I have a meditation for you to encourage your visualization of the golden ratio, the golden buttercup. And I included 1.618 hertz frequency in the background for you to feel the energy of the golden ratio and the buttercup. And visualize it and see how it makes you feel. And maybe during your visualizations, you can also hold something that you made that is the magical square of the angels and just start playing around like a child what it feels like to be holding the golden ratio, feeling, smelling, being, flying with that energy. The buttercup is also a signal or symbol of eyes to see. So a scryer is a seer. You are a seer, and the buttercup is a symbol of becoming a seer. Take note that it was Noah who had eyes that shined so brightly that it lit up a room, and it was Noah who heard the voice of God to get people on the boat. Noah was a seer. And so the buttercup is also about being a shapeshifter, a time traveler, moving mountains, shifting realities, and being aware of how to do so through sacred geometry and the angelic voice of the Enochian magical squares and the great table. Please get into the color yellow. Wear yellow. Buy some yellow shoes and have fun with it. Don't let it make you feel overwhelmed. Definitely don't get the book and read it from beginning to end. Just open it and feel led divinely. And enjoy this meditation as we will walk the yellow brick road, the golden ratio, within our heart and our minds. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com. 1.618 Golden Ratio Meditation. Imagine you are walking the golden ratio like a spiral. The yellow brick road. You are wearing golden shoes. They vibrate your feet. You are only looking at the golden road and your feet. You love walking this road. It hypnotizes you. You begin to feel lighter. And you begin to float above the golden ratio, just a little bit above the road, and you smell golden buttercups. These golden buttercups emit a frequency which allows you to see and hear the angelic realm. The colors of the angels lead you to larger understandings and a larger world where your consciousness unfolds like the golden ratio or a buttercup facing the sun. You fly, you spin, you laugh. All healing is given to you. You can walk if you want, or fly. Use your imagination. The golden ratio will lead you. Stay on the yellow brick road.